and welcome to another episode of Cubs on Tap. I'm Joey Ricotta at Joey Knows Nothing, joined by my good friend Tyler Edmonds at Teddy Freddy 270. It has been a long time since we have been on the mic together. Little Sunday fun day action, and wish the mood was a little bit better. I think we're in a good mood, but maybe not from the Cubs. So yeah, Tyler. As we know, Cubs on Tap here is part of the On Tap Sports Network. You can go to ontapsportsnet.com, check out all your Chicago sports needs over there. Follow us over on the X account as well at Cubbies on Tap. But yeah, we got a unfortunate set of circumstances to deal with here this weekend with the 2-1 series loss to the Astros. But Tyler, I'm excited to break it down with you, even if it was a shitty outcome. So how the heck are you doing, man?
Joey, you're right. It has been a minute. I feel like, yeah, we were talking pre-show. I can't remember the last time we actually talked. It's been a minute. It's good to see you. It's good to be back on here with you. Yeah, the weekend as far as the series sucked, but at least the weather here in Kentucky was nice. Today, man, I just freaking awesome day. Mowed the yard, smoked some ribs, drank some beer. Just getting ready for next weekend's festivities. Pretty much, I was just pre-gaming and testing out all that kind of stuff for next weekend. But I'm good, man.
There it goes. We were talking pre-show about this too.
No, I'm good, man. But yeah, I feel like the series could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been. But I'm right there with you, man. That's what we've been getting a little bit prepared for as well. 4th of July, some good things cooking. Funny enough, we actually had ribs last night. My mother-in-law made some ribs last night. So I don't think we're gonna have that on the 4th, but it was nice to at least get a nice meal in.
Beef ribs. I know everyone thinks pork ribs. Beef ribs. Just trust me, try it sometime. I'm serious.
Slap.
Everybody else, I know you guys are like looking for 4th of July. You know, you guys do your 4th of July cookouts and barbecues and stuff. If you're stuck on what to cook, give a good old fashioned fat rack of beef ribs a chance. Give them a chance.
There you go. All right. I mean, I will because I like beef regardless. So beef, pork. I'm just a meat. I'm a carnivore. Like when it's all said and done. But yeah, at least you got some beers in too. Got to mow the yard. I mean, it wasn't the outcome we wanted today with the Cubs. Obviously losing 2-0. They couldn't get the bats going. But we'll talk about the series here as a whole. As Daniel Barry, thank you for joining us. Hops in. Hey everyone, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to all of you that are tuning in now, and we appreciate you guys joining us. So. With that said, Tyler, I guess we could start with, we'll start with the series as a whole. This was the offseason trade series, which has been talked about extensively throughout Cubs Twitter, throughout the media, wherever you want to look. Cam Smith is going to be a dude here, Hank Rodriguez says. I have no doubts that he's going to be good. I don't know if anyone really had that many doubts that he was going to be good when they traded him, but this obviously was a hot topic of conversation all weekend long due to how well he performed. I just think it's magnified when you're facing them, of course. But the guy that you got in that deal is pretty damn good as well. He's a superstar. And Kyle Tucker. So, anyways, we'll get into all that. But the series started out on Friday, 7-4 loss. Wasn't ideal. You had Cade Horton. He almost got out of the early jam, but he was just missing his spots. Gave up 2 different 3-run homers and wasn't able to last very long in that one. Only pitched 4 innings, allowed 8 hits, 7 earned, walked 4, and struck out 2. Yainer Diaz really was the big blow in that one in the 3rd inning. The 3-run homer with 2 outs killed him. And then Cam Smith obviously really hurt the Cubs there too. Of course, Smith was 2 for 2 with a 3-run homer and 2 walks. So really just an incredible game from him on Friday, which, magnified things a lot. Really impressive thing I think about that game on Friday, even though it was a loss, Chris Flexen.
Yes.
Flexen on him. He stood on his head, man. 4 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, a strikeout. He really gave the Cubs a chance, just like he's done all season long. Nico Horner hit another home run. Matt Shaw had a nice game, 2 for 4, almost identical looking doubles right down the third baseline. 3 RBI for him in that one. They made it kind of entertaining, but a 7-4 game, and it really never felt that all that close. So not much to really say about that one as far as the Cubs were concerned, because I thought they were going to lose that game, just how that, shook out there when they were down by so much. But did you have any thoughts on Friday's game?
So Friday night was really Cade Horton's first outing where he really got lit. So it'll be interesting to see how he responds. And hey, he's young. I'm not one of those people sitting there trying to say, "Oh, give him time." I'm not saying that. It's just going to be interesting to see how he bounces back from his. I mean, I know he's had losses and he's got hit before in the past, but he's never given up 7 earned runs. So it'll just be interesting to see how he responds from that. Yeah, other than that, like you said, it was nice to see Chris Flexen do, flexing on, what he's been doing all year long. Who knows? Maybe he's a guy that you pencil in for a spot start here and there until hopefully they make a move, which I know we're going to talk about. But yeah, that's really, other than that, yeah, Friday just kind of, poo-poo.
I got a question for you. This is not anything that we planned on talking about, but Flexen, obviously he had a great outing then, but he's really been fantastic throughout the season. Could you see him? I know he's a former starter, and we like him in the bullpen and the role that he's been in. Obviously, he's been terrific at it. Could you see them possibly? I saw this brought up on Twitter to the main account. Somebody was responding as like, hey, maybe it's a time to give him an opportunity or stretch him back out. He's kind of stretched out already, but would you see him as like a 5th starter, 4th starter option?
I look at it this way. Like you said, he's been great in the role that he's had. I like the role that he's had. With that being said, if they're going to do something like that, it needs to happen right now, because I wouldn't want it to be a thing where, they don't make a move, or maybe they get one arm that, isn't like a humongous impact arm, but he's a guy that, he can give us innings of blah, blah, blah. And we're also going to move Chris Flexen up. And that's when we're, I don't want to see them testing this out after the trade deadline, and then it turn around and, crap on their face, and then they're in the same spot that they're in. So yeah, if they're going to do something like that, I would prefer them to do it right now. But again, he's been so good in the role that he's been in. I don't know if you'd want to, why mess that up? Because this bullpen, that's been one of their saving graces in this season, is their amazing bullpen for the most part. And Flexen's been a huge part of that.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to agree with you there. Because ideally, like we're going to talk about it later, they're going to make a bigger move to where it's not as important that he's in the starting rotation, or anyone else is in the starting rotation, and he just sticks to the same really solid role that he's in now. Just to address a couple comments here. Jay McGinnis saying barbecue ribs. I think he's saying barbecue ribs. I'm not quite sure. But I love some barbecue ribs.
Probably like the baby back barbecue ribs. And they're good. Don't get me wrong. They're awesome. They're great. All I'm saying is just try the beef ribs. Just try it one time.
There you go. And Scott is giving us a little bit of a message here. Chill the F out. The Cubs are fine. I don't know. That's
I'm chill, Scott.
Yeah.
I'm fine. No, I'm good. I'm good, man.
We're pretty chill.
We're good, yeah. We're a lot more chill than I feel like a lot of Cubs. There's some Cubs Twitter people out there that aren't, but
it's going to happen, though. I mean, the frustration part of it, I understand, because it's such a 162 game season, if you're in every single game as like a mentality of like, hey, what's going to happen tonight? It's only like human nature, I feel like, to freak out a little bit. But
it is. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of overreacting going on that we need to like level out, like just calm down a little bit, take a breath. It's a road trip. You know, we haven't even gotten to the other 2 games in the series yet, but I think like there's just a lot to digest as a whole from this series. But like what's been happening lately? I mean, we have not been the show of like, hey, the wheels are falling off completely. I mean, anytime you're 49-34 coming into today's game, each team came into today's game, that the Astros and the Cubs both came into the same record, 49-34. So like there's a lot more good still there. It's just tapping back into that. And, you know, like we were saying though, about game 1, you know, it wasn't really too much outside of like the Cade Horton stuff. First time him kind of getting lit up a little bit there. Game 2, the bats really came out, man. 12-3. They got the W. The 4th inning, really the opposite side of Friday night. It was a light show for the Cubs. Three homers in the inning, all of them off of Lance McCullers. And hey, welcome back off the IL, kid. He gets Michael Busch with his 14th homer. Nico with another homer. It goes from not being able to hit a homer up until June 24th, and now he can't stop hitting homers. Kyle Tucker, he hit his 17th bomb returning to Houston. He went 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs. And then later, my dinger pick on Saturday, which felt really good, Seiya hit his 22nd homer, 2-run shot. Did you have him too?
I did.
You had Seiya too? Okay, nice. There we go. Cam Smith, of course, hit another homer in Saturday's game, 2-run homer off of Colin Ray. But the Cubs offense as a whole really stood on its head. 15 hits in the game for the Cubs, 12 runs. Colin Ray was okay, 5 innings, 2 runs allowed. The bullpen with Ryan Brazier, Pomeranz, Presley, they were all good. Porter Hodge gave up the homer to Paredes, so that was probably the only like blemish out of the bullpen on Saturday. But 12-3, nice comfy win in game 2. Tyler, were you able to catch that one at all, or what were your thoughts on Saturday's game?
My favorite part of Saturday's game was Kyle Tucker's 4 for 5 night, a triple shy of the cycle.
Yeah.
He showed up to his old house, stuck his nuts on the table, and metaphorically.
Hang on.
Can you hear me?
It's coming back. Yep. There. Yep. I can hear you now.
He metaphorically stuck his nuts out on the table and looked at all those crybaby, that part of the Cubs fan base that wants to be crybabies all the time. He looked at those crybaby fans and said, "Hey, this is who you gave up Cam Smith for. This guy right here, one of the best players in baseball. One of the reasons why this offense has been what it has been. This is why. This is who you gave up Cam Smith for. Me." Yep. He metaphorically said that with his big stick on Saturday, and I freaking loved it. It was awesome. Which, by the way,
hang on, because my microphone keeps jacking up.
I knew that you're good.
Happened.
Oh, now it's out again. Technical difficulty. See, we don't like.
Am I good? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll just screw it. We'll bring
right now because I get so tired, and you talked about it earlier. I get so tired of hearing this whole everybody that toxic side of this fan base that wants to get upset about, oh, well, and it started on Friday when Cam Smith hit his homer, and they say, oh, well, they gave up Cam Smith. Part of knowing your farm system is knowing what you have, and blah blah blah. As if like they thought that the Cubs front office was going to be able to pull a fast one by the Houston freaking Astros. And instead of giving up Cam Smith, maybe they give up a guy like Matt Shaw, who is currently struggling a little bit. He had a good series he had a decent series this weekend. But like all these fans that want to bitch and complain about, oh, well, we could have had Cam Smith on this team. But the thing is sometimes, actually most of the time, because here's how trades work. You've got to give up good players or good prospects to get really good players like freaking Kyle Tucker.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? Great for Cam Smith. I hope he has a same career. Now, we can bitch and complain if they don't extend Kyle Tucker, but I'm so sick of talking about it right now because we've talked about it since freaking December. We know it's going to be crap. It's going to be just a huge miss and a loss on this Cubs front office part if they don't extend. I get that. We get that. But we're not – I mean, like, I'm just done discussing that right now. And I know you are too. And I know most logical and level-headed Cubs fans are. Like, they know that. But I'm not going to sit here like a lot of these fans that just want to bitch just a bitch and just keep complaining about, oh, well, Cam Smith hit a homer. It would have been – he don't even play third base for the Astros. He plays right field.
It's another thing.
Could have had Cam Smith.
Where's he playing on this team, though? You know, like, I guess he would have had to figure out third base defense, though. But
yeah. And the thing is, just like you had Cam Smith still been on this team, they would have seen those same fans would have seen Matt hit a homer or make a good play at third and be like, oh, well, it must be nice to have a good defensive third baseman because we don't know how to keep him and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's exactly what they would do. And it's just annoying. And there's some Twitter people out there, some big profiles out there that do that. And I can't freaking stand it. Like, you do that because you know that so many other people are going to hover. Oh, somebody's bitching and complaining. I don't even know what they're bitching and complaining about, but we're all going to hover around them too and do the same thing too. And it's like, you know what you're doing, and it's bullshit.
It drives me nuts too.
Especially when we're so close to freaking 4th of July, man.
We should be in celebration mode right now.
Yeah.
Right? We're in celebration
whatever.
mode.
But yeah, Kyle Tucker just he stuck his nuts out on the table on Saturday and just continued to do what he does. And I just love to see it. And we're going to see it in Atlanta in about 2 weeks. So, you know, it's awesome.
But like you said, though, I mean, like, Kyle Tucker is a superstar, man. Like exactly like you said, you got to give up good players to get good players. A prospect evaluation be damned. Like, you have to know who you're letting go in a trade. You know, I get that. Yeah, well, they knew who the good prospect was because they drafted him in the first place.
Yeah.
So who actually knew who the good player was? A first round pick that they drafted. And
we were screaming for the last 2 years. We were talking about how all the story was this awesome farm system we had. And we were sitting here screaming about, well, yes, guess
trade
what?
Trade them.
Sometimes you got to trade those prospects. Yeah. And they did that. And
that's how it works. You have to utilize your farm system, build it up. And some of those guys graduate and play really well for your team. Some of them bust. And some of them are used as trade chips. And some of those guys end up playing really well for that team, or they bust. It's a gamble.
And good for Cam Smith. Again, I hope he has an amazing career with Houston. Whatever he does, wins an MVP, whatever. That'd be great. Awesome. And it'd be a cool Cubs trivia question one day is, Cam Smith used to play for the Chicago or got drafted by the Chicago Cubs or something, whatever. But we knew that was going to, I knew that conversation. Like, I knew those people were going to say that on Twitter this weekend. And it's just like,
oh yeah,
it's just exhausting. And
it was
just
a great time to stay away from social media if you knew that was coming. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The one thing here too, I was kind of like half-heartedly joking here, but like, if you're watching us live on screen, my name says Cam is Justice Smith. So I asked Google and AI. I said, what's the most common name in America? Smith. Over 2.4 million people in America have Cam's last name. So what's so special about Cam? All right, I'm joking, but still, Yeah, you know what? It's just like it drives me nuts, man. Like I think he's going to be a really great player. He killed the Cubs in the series. If we want to like look further at it, like actually compare the numbers here, Cam Smith and Isaac Paredes, who was also a part of that deal.
I'm glad you said his name because that's who. If they're going to bitch about trade rules, it should be Isaac Paredes.
Right.
Anyways,
well, maybe not, right? Because like Paredes probably wasn't going to do what he's doing with the Astros with the Cubs at all, anyways.
No, he's not. I'm just saying, like, I just know that the ignorant part of this fan base would, if they were going to complain about giving up somebody in that trade for Kyle Tucker, I feel like Paredes, when they look at his numbers and where he's playing and all that kind of stuff, it's funny that they're not saying him, but instead they're saying Cam Smith.
Yeah, exactly. So we won't spend too much more time on it right now because like I feel like you said, it's a conversation to have later on in the off season, right?
Yeah.
This is something to look back on. We're not done with the conversation completely, but for now we're going to table it. It was good to see the love that Kyle Tucker got, Brian Presley got, going back to Houston. I think it's always cool when players like go return after playing so well for an organization and getting that love from them. Like I love seeing the Cubs players that played so well for us or, come back and get that love from the home crowd. I'm sure it's special for them anytime. Like, we got some comments here too. Break Even Tom says, "What's up, fellas? In Houston, Craig left JMO in too long. We're not quite to that game yet, but we're gonna get into today's game too." Says it was beautiful seeing it Saturday live, but we have to figure out how to hit lefty starters. In all fairness, that home run hit yesterday had a 0.41 expected batting average and was only a homer in one park. Houston, laugh out loud. I was in the Crawford boxes for that game. It's a 3:15 down the line. Yeah, and you could say the same about today's home run with Jose Altuve. That ball was just a fly out, and it's unfortunate. But with that said, Tyler, we'll get into today's game. 2-0 loss after the big win on Saturday. Today they fell flat, at least with the offense. Framber Valdez, opposite of JMO. JMO, I was looking for a bounce back outing from him. The last two starts haven't been good. Coming into today, it was better than the last two outings, but now he's still failed to make it through 5 innings in 3 straight starts. The pitch count really got out of hand for him. He had 90 pitches through 4 innings, even though he hadn't allowed a run. It's tough whenever you do that, though, to get deep whenever that's the case. So he really wasn't bad today necessarily, like from a run production standpoint against him. But unfortunately, Jose Altuve, he lets a breaking ball go right down the middle, and Altuve just hits a fly ball, and that's gone. So definitely it would have been, I feel like that was probably his last batter if he allowed another base runner. Unfortunately, the base runner that he allows is a home run. Just wanted to see him get through 5 innings, I feel like, in that situation. But, Altuve, the 2-run bomb couldn't happen. 4 2/3 for JMO. On the flip side, Framber, he had 63 pitches through 5 innings today.
Oh, dude, yeah, he was.
He was just electric, and he was really just way more efficient than what JMO was. Cubs had an opportunity to do some damage in the 7th inning. They had 2 on, nobody out. Joe Espada elected to pull Framber at 92 pitches, which was better for the Cubs, in my opinion, because you get Turner out of the game, and you have Michael Busch pinch hitting in that situation. Busch got a pitch from Brian Abreu that was right down the middle and just missed it. He popped out on the infield for 1 out, and then you got Brujan pinch hitting for Birdie, and he can't do anything. He strikes out, and then Happ strikes out. That was the missed opportunity. If they had any opportunity in the game to come back in the 7th inning, they couldn't get it done. Lot to unpack here, Tyler. This Sunday game really had a lot in it, and only a 2-0 game. So where do you want to start?
Today's game. along with, just the last few series in general, today's game was just a reminder that, I mean, it showcased how much help every place where help is needed was highlighted today in this game. They need another starter. They need a bench bat. They need you could say they could, I mean, I know Matt Shaw had a decent game and at least decent series, but then you got John Birdie playing third on Sunday, and it's like it just highlighted all the holes that they needed filled by the trade deadline was highlighted today. Jameson, he wasn't terrible. Yeah, he only gave up 2 runs, but I'll be honest, I knew he was going to give up a home run. It just is what it is, and he's got to stop that. I know, I get it. He only gave up 2 earned runs, but still, gosh, I want to say that was his third. He leads the league in home run. He just passed Cal Raleigh on the home run. I think it was his 33rd home run. Pretty sure that was his 33rd. Man. I think that was his 33rd home run he's given up this year. And, usually you see 107 pitches, you think, oh, man, he made it in the 5th, or maybe he got through 5, or maybe he was in the, at least the 6th inning. And
didn't even get anywhere near that.
Just struggled to. And I get it. Yeah, Craig probably left him in a little too long. Because even that last out before he gave up the home run, I want to say he gave up a fly ball that was hit to Kyle Tucker. That one was hit pretty good too, and it was one of those things like, okay, yeah, he's getting hit. But you could say that he was left in a little too long. Just, man, not what you wanted to see out of him. And I get it. He only gave up 2 earned runs. He just really battled to just get through where he got through. And again, I'm sorry, 22 homers this year. I got I thought I couldn't remember if it was 22 or 32. But
still a lot though. It's a lot for this time of year.
Maybe that's what it was. I'd said he leads this team in home runs is what it was. He just passed Seiya. He just passed Seiya and PCA, I guess. He's got 22 now. But yeah, other than that, when you've got guys like Brujan and I know Justin Turner started the game, but like you see that and it's like, how long's Turner going to be? How long's Turner going to be on this team?
Bro,
and he's not the only one, but when you have Turner and Brujan as your guys coming off the bench, and Birdie's got a little bit of speed, but when that's what you've got, I mean, how long does it last?
Yeah, that's my thoughts. I agree with you on the pitching too, because I think that's something we obviously know. We've been beating the drum for a long time. Even coming into the year, we thought the pitching might be a little bit light, that we might need to do something. And then without Steele, it's so magnified right now. And I'm not saying JMO's not one of your 5 or one of your top 4 or whatever the case may be, but he's not a 1, he's not a 2. He's a mid-rotation, back rotation arm. And you need better from him, like even break-even Tom said, 31 pitches in the first inning. That's not good enough.
I think today was just a reminder. Today was just a reminder that at best he's a 3-4.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine if that's what he is, but we need help.
Yeah.
So, but like your point, Brujan starting. Address the bench. Whether it's like Justin Turner, when you have Brujan pinch hitting as your best lefty bench option after Michael Busch, who's really a starter, that just magnifies everything. Like Vidal Brujan should not be your best lefty bench bat option. And if your best bench bat option for the right side is Justin Turner, that's not good enough either because he's not hitting. I know he's a good clubhouse guy. If he's not playing much at all, then fine, but he shouldn't be taking away starts from Michael Busch. He shouldn't be the guy that's relied upon because it's clear that he's not what he once was. This guy, I think I brought this up with Nick the other night. His bat speed is so slow now. He doesn't take advantage of fastballs like he used to. Like he used to be a really good fastball hitter. His bat speed is so slow, like one of the bottom of the league. It's been this way for a few years now, and it just keeps going down progressively. Like maybe the first percentile or something at this point of bat speed. If you can't catch up to a fastball, and that was one of your pitches that you really could handle through the prime of your career, there's something wrong there. Like there's something wrong. He's 40 years old. So, I mean, like we can't expect him to be a bench bat at this point. I look at it like this. I'm gonna use this comparison. This is gonna really sound stupid. You know how, you're looking at a real bench, right? It serves a purpose. The Cubs starters, like I said, it's gonna sound stupid. Cubs starters are the bus. That's who's going to take you to your destination, the promised land. The Cubs starters, but the people waiting on the bus have to have somewhere to stay, right? They got to have a solid foundation. They got to have a bench. This bench is falling apart. They can't sit on this bench.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Let's get something a little more stable, a little more reliable for these people. I know the people and the bench doesn't really make sense because I'm sure in the dugout, the actual bench that they're sitting on is probably fine.
Yeah, I would hope so.
But you get what I'm saying. The bus is the starters.
They need a better bench.
You need a better bench. Try to simplify it for people.
But you're right. Yeah. Just, I don't want to sit here and say we're panicking because, hey, if you look at the standings, they're still in first place. They're still at least two games above Milwaukee. When you look at other teams in the National League, like I believe even Scott had said earlier, they're still one of the better teams in the National League. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't want to sit here. I like comparing teams to an extent, but then I also don't like being that guy. I don't like being this guy, but I guess I'm going to be this guy for a minute. I don't like being that guy that says, oh, look at this team. Look how they're struggling. At least we're not as bad as them. But to be that guy for a minute, you see a team like the Mets who are struggling right now, and you see other teams like the Yankees have, I want to say they're back on a roll now, but they struggled a little bit. And you've got other teams that do that. And to kind of go back to your point earlier, when I get it, as fans that most of us do, we stay glued in to just about every game. And every game we expect to win. You expect to win every single game. And I get it. Realistically, that's not going to happen. But and with baseball, we understand that, yes, it's a roller coaster and you have your trends and who's hot, who's not at this time and everything like that. And so I'm not – and again, just like I know you're not either, like I'm not panicking right now. I'm not. In my opinion, it's way too early to panic because, I mean, if we thought this was going to be a cakewalk to win this division, we said it at the beginning of the year. Milwaukee is – I'm not gonna believe in Milwaukee anymore when they show me that they're not the Brewers that they've been the last few years, that scrappy team that somehow finds a way to win. So if we thought that it was going to be a cakewalk to win this division, we're wrong. But you were wrong. But I just feel like sooner rather than later would be a great time to address some of these issues that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, especially like you said about the division. Every team except for the Pirates is 4 games over 500 or better. Like you look at the 4th place Reds, they're 5 games team back now.
Out of those 3 teams in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, if there was one team I didn't want to play like in a 5-game series, it would be the Reds.
I don't hate that opinion.
They struggle against the Reds. And I don't want to turn this into like but like, so this division, man, people on the outside looking in can say whatever they want, but it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's not.
It's better than what it looked like coming into the season that people thought, right?
Yeah.
All of the analysts saying, oh, this division sucks. It's so winnable. It's yada, yada, yada. Yes, it is winnable. The Cubs are in first place right now, still with all these struggles. The Cubs are in first place, but This is a tough. It's still going to
Oh,
be
it is.
a dog
When you
fight.
see a Milwaukee team that just added basically Paul Skeens 2.0, and then you see a Cincinnati team that just called up a prospect that is just as good, if not better, than Hunter Green, who's hurt right now, that's coming back. They also got Nick Lodolo, who's going to come, who's having a good year. So, like, and
yeah,
I don't even want to talk about that other team. But yeah, it's just it's not going to be easy.
Tracy K here. We need to address. We need a bench, truly. No more Bruhan, Birdie in a big moment, please. Missing Talkman. Dude, Talkman, I loved having him off the bench. He always had a great at-bat. Always.
Well, he's in Chicago right now, right? He's just across the street, ain't he? He's just down the road, right?
That's a trade they could make if they wanted to, but, like, where are you going to put him? And, like, the outfield is not the actual position you need of a bench bat. So that's the tough part, because who plays center field right now? Bruhan's your backup center fielder. You don't really have a true backup outfielder outside of Seiya, who you already have 4 outfielders on.
I would take Talkman, drop Turner, and just tell Michael Busch you're batting against the lefties too now.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess
that'd be fine too, but
I'm not
to address the lefty issue.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there trying to make a push for Mike Talkman. I'm just saying, I miss that guy.
Yeah, I do. Man, that play he made against the Cardinals will forever be one of my favorite Cubs moments of all time. Yeah, and Andrew Abbott, like, break even Tom here too. We didn't mention him. Should be an all-star. That's another guy, right? They got guys. Cincinnati has guys that if they get hot here, it could be a little bit dangerous.
And he also, I know earlier he brought up that's a hot topic right now with Mitch Keller, as far as being interested with the Pirates and Mitch Keller. Like, I kind of agree as far as what he's saying there, as far as not wanting him. I wouldn't hate him, but here's why I wouldn't like it if that was the move, the arm that, they're saying that, that's the only arm they get. Now, if they got like a Mitch Keller, but then added, got somebody else too. Like, I know he says here, Joe Ryan and Suarez, like, if he added, if you added a Mitch Keller and a Joe Ryan,
right?
Then, oh yeah, hell yeah. But if it's just Mitch Keller, I agree. I don't think that really moves the needle as much, because you're just adding another 3-4 starter at best, almost like another Jameson Taillon. And like we said, I want a needle mover.
Yeah, we and you were
6-12,
both.
Joey. 6-12, real quick. 6-12.
Yeah, the way you're doing the motion, it's like you're. I'm not gonna say it on air. But no, I'm with you. Yeah, we don't want to get canceled. I do agree though that, like, that's why I was saying, before we even hopped on here, Joe Ryan, number 1, is one of my favorite pitchers in the league. I would love if we could get that guy. But Chris Sale was my number 1 target. And I know people were saying, oh, he's not available. The Braves aren't going to trade him, yada, yada. Now I think it's more of a question of the rib issues and, whatever else is ailing him. Because I feel like if the Braves, like, once we got closer to the deadline, it's a possibility that they would still move him, because it's not like Chris Sale is super young. He does have that 1 year left on his deal, but, like, okay, it costs a little bit more. But he's a swing and miss bat kind of guy. He's a stud. He can pitch in the postseason. We know what Chris Sale is capable of. I look at guys like Sandy Alcantara, and yes, the ceiling might be a little higher than a Mitch Keller or whatever, but is it really? Because since he's been back, and first of all, he got lit up the other day, but since he's been back, not even just since he's been back, he's not a strikeout guy. Like, we're talking about strikeout pitchers that can go out there and dominate starts. And, we don't really have those type of guys in the rotation really at all. But Sandy's not that way. Like, his strikeout rate has always been a little bit lower. He's not missing a ton of bats right now since coming back from the injury. I don't know if that's somebody I would pay a premium for, just with the hope that he can return to, like, 2021, 2022 levels. You know what I mean? Like, that's a gamble.
Yeah, like, I want to somebody from the Athletic or MLB Network. They threw up this hypothetical trade with the Cubs and Sandy Alcantara, and they threw in, like, it was like 4 of their bigger prospects, like I want to say like a Owen Casey, and I even want to say they threw in Cade Horton as well. And a few, I want to say 2 other guys, maybe Triantos, and it was at least 4 guys. And I'm like, man, I get it. He's got Alcantara's got, a few more years on his contract, but it's too big of a risk because he has not shown that he's that Cy Young guy that he was. What was it, 2020 or 2021?
Yeah, 20.
I just don't
1 or 22, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would trust. Now you go watch. He'll get traded to somebody like the Dodgers and turn around and freaking be an all-star, but because that's just how it goes. But I just don't think. I don't know. I just feel like it's too big of a risk. And talking about other guys like we were talking about the Twins, and and you were talking about Chris Sale. I feel like there's too many teams right now that all feel like that they can still make the playoffs, even the Twins. And I'm pretty sure the Twins, real quick, let's see here. The Twins are okay. They're 12.5 games back. But as far as the wild card, let's see. They're 3.5 games back from a wild card. So still, there's so many teams right now that feel like they have a shot. That it's going to be hard to find. I think as far as the big move, I think it's going to happen like trade deadline, just because I think it's going to take a team to go on a losing streak to be like, well, I guess we're not in it right now. We're going to have, and even then, like, I still feel like the Braves, as far out as they are, they're sick enough to believe that they're going to make the playoffs or have a shot. So yeah, there's just too much up in the air right now, too much of the unknown.
Yeah, and this goes to a question that we wanted to discuss here on the show, but do you think a move, well, that's like your big move, and I'm in agreement with you. I think the big move is like once we figure out who's all in it and who's out of it, because then you're going to know who the top options are, right? For sure. Because we don't know who the top options are in comparison to like who we can kind of guess is a trade candidate at this point. But like, do you think a deal gets made before the end of the All-Star break, Tyler? Like, it could be addressing the bench. It could be a relief pitcher. It could be anything. But like, I feel like that's coming around the corner here.
I think they make a move, and it may be the last game. Who do they play last? The Yankees. I want to say they play the Yankees before they head into the All-Star break.
I think you're right.
I believe so. I think they make a move. I wouldn't be shocked if they made a move during that little break right there. Whatever it is, 4 days. I think a move is made. I think the first move that's going to be made will probably be something as far as addressing the bench, hopefully. But again, like you said, like we've said, I think, and like Tom here says, the big needle mover trade is not going to happen until the trade deadline, because and those teams that are doing the trading, they'd almost be smart enough just to wait it out, because the longer they wait, there's a good chance that teams are going to be desperate and they're going to throw whatever they can to get their piece.
You get into a bidding war too, and they know that you get into a bidding war
because
like he's the top option. Yeah, let me go pay more. Yeah,
and it sucks because you'd really like to see that happen way before all that, but that's just the nature of the business, man.
Mm-hmm. The good part is, though, Tyler, and this is where I go back to the positive side of things, or like optimistic outlook, is Cubs have all these needs, but they've already banked a lot of these wins. Like, yes, it would have been terrific to get Shota back a lot sooner, but now that they've got Shota back at this point, because they were able to kind of ride the ship, they were able to fight through things and still get wins while he was out. Yeah. And yes, we have these needs on the team to be a serious contender when it's all said and done, right? You got holes that you need to fill and address. But the thing is they can still manage to get some victories while this all shakes itself out too. Like, I don't think this is not a team where I would look at them and say, oh, well, they're screwed if they don't make any moves right now. No, they can still pick up some wins, especially with a nice homestand, coming up here. You've got a nice little. I mean, it sucks that you took another L versus a 500 or better team. I saw the tweet out there from Bruce Levine. I believe they haven't won a series against a 500 or better team since April 22nd against the Dodgers, which that's not good. But, if we're looking at what's on tap here, you got a 3-game set against the Guardians, who that's not a bad team. They're coming into Wrigley, and then you've got the Cardinals over the weekend, but that's a nice spot, I feel like, for them to be able to get some victories here back at home. Like you didn't take advantage of it against the Mariners, right? That was a series where you looked at the Brewers and Mariners series of good opponents, able to take advantage of. Hopefully you can at least do something well against them. But, the Brewers series itself, the one game got canceled, rained out, or postponed, I should say. And then, you lost 2 of 3 against the Mariners. I'm hoping for a better outlook this week. You got some better pitching going for the Cubs now. You got Shota, who will be involved in this series, pitching against the Guardians. So maybe they could take advantage of at least 2 of these games against them and then go in it and really put a number, at least 2 of 3 against the Cardinals is what I'm hoping for. But yeah, Tyler, it's all 7:05 start times against the Guardians. We've got Gavin Williams Tuesday night, 7:05 versus Matthew Boyd. You've got Tanner Bibby versus Shota on Wednesday, and then LL Ortiz versus Cade Horton, who hopefully we can get a bounce back there. But what are your thoughts here moving into the Guardians and Cardinals series, and what do the Cubs need to do to just take advantage of this, getting back at home?
I think it's like you were talking about earlier, as far as mustering up wins, this offense has got to come back alive again. Like that, what they were doing, what they did Saturday, that's got to show up. That's got to show up starting on Tuesday. And I think, who was it? Let's see here. Gavin Williams. Yeah. I feel like because Matt Boyd's going to be Matt Boyd. He's proven me wrong since the beginning of the year. In my opinion, all-star Matthew Boyd. But yeah, he has got to this offense has got to show up. And like our guy Break Even Tom here says, alrighty starters, jump on that. Thing. Yeah. Jump on that. And carry this momentum, build you some momentum these next 2 weeks heading into the All-Star break, and just give this front office a reason to make a move sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think they can absolutely do it. There's obviously some, like we said, there's holes that need to be addressed. Maybe these last few weeks, the last couple weeks, is what's shown the front office of like, hey, we need to get a little bit more aggressive. We need to make at least kind of the ancillary moves. You know what I mean? The Justin Turners, who people are outraged, like Hank even mentioned it in the comments. Like, I can live with basically, not fun watching Turner struggle to reach down for low throws at first base. I could deal with the terrible at bats, but not terrible defense too. Yeah, there was a play later in the game too, before he exited. It wasn't that late in the game because Bush ended up coming into the game. But there was a play that, like, dude, you don't need to dive for that ball. You shouldn't even have to dive for that ball. You should just get to that. But you're so old and decrepit and not even a real first baseman that you made that play look difficult and you didn't even make the play. Like, Michael Bush makes that play 9 out of 10 times, I feel like. 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's just frustrating when you're seeing stuff like that. And that also goes back to not even just who's a part of the roster or who's a part of the team, but like the decisions being made. Yeah, he missed a damn ground ball. Break you time. Yeah. It goes to management too in certain, like, I give Counsell a lot of credit with what he's done with this team, but there's certain things that's like, dude, just play your guys. Ride the bus.
Yeah.
Ride the bus. The bus are your starters, your core guys getting you to your destination. The bench is the bench. Yes, we need a better bench, but your core guys need to play. And Michael Bush has stepped up and played really well this year. So I want to keep him in the lineup as much as possible. I don't care that there's a lefty in the mound. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. Anyways, so that's the one way to get me fired up if Jeff's saying we are fucked. I don't think we're fucked.
Jeff, we're all gonna die one day. Okay, so
yeah, there's that. There's that, especially if you have too many pork or beef ribs.
Yeah,
it might speed things. Might speed things up a little bit there, even though they're tasting real good. Tyler, final thoughts for this series and just whatever else is on your mind in the world of the Cubs.
Final thoughts. Just erase it. Look, this Houston team. You could see that this Houston team may make the World Series this year. So, and I'm not sitting here trying to use that as an excuse, but hey, erase it, move on. Let's get some wins. It's getting to be that time of year, man. Freaking, July, middle of the summer, like just awesome time of year for baseball. So don't overstress over this right now. Okay. Now's not the time to freak out and stress. They're gonna make a move, hopefully multiple moves. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Other than that, RIP to Dave Parker, former Pittsburgh Pirate. Dude was a Cub killer.
Yep. Yeah.
RIP to him. And I guess the only other thing I know, it just happened today if you're in the news and stuff. Just a little side thing about me. Other people probably know too. I'm a firefighter. And thoughts and prayers, and not just because I'm in the same profession, but thoughts and prayers with the fire department and the firefighters out in Idaho right now. If you haven't seen all that, just give it, read up on it. But it's just kind of a crappy. Just there's just some stupid people in this world, some ignorant people in this world. So yeah, thoughts are with them. But other than that, man, it's about to be July 1. July is the best month of the year. I'm going to say it right now. You've got 4th of July. You've got freaking the Home Run Derby, All-Star break, my birthday. You've got the hot dog eating contest, my birthday. Yeah, man. July is almost here.
Yeah. It's a great time of year. Not just because first of all, I thank you for shouting out the Idaho situation. Thoughts and prayers over there, absolutely. But yeah, July is a great time of year, man. It's not just because it's your birthday, but it is your birthday. 4th of July is just be safe. That's the thing. Be safe, but have fun. Hopefully everyone just enjoys themselves with their family and takes everything in. And hopefully the Cubs get a W. I was really looking forward to the Cubs just every year. 4th of July is a tradition to watch the Cubs. I was going to go to the game, but we're having a shindig, over family's house. So it's, whatever. It's going to be awesome. I'm so much looking forward to that. But the Cubs aren't even on marquee, or aren't they on? Isn't it Apple TV? I think for the 4th of July. What is that?
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
Now that you say that, yeah, I think they are. Oh my God.
It's so stupid, man. So stupid. You don't put the Cubs on Apple TV.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, I was so looking forward to because I'm going to a shingding as well. And my plan was, I was bring a cooler of beer, chill in the pool, and watch the game on the TV they got outside. But yeah. Oh.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, add that to the list of things that we can complain about. And
our forefathers did not go through what they did to defeat the British, the Tea Party, all that kind of stuff, for us to have to freaking watch Cubs games on Apple TV. They didn't. 7 years ago, they said we shall watch our games on Marquee Network and not freaking Apple TV. And I think that was a different speech. I think that was Civil War, but I don't care.
I'm pretty sure if they actually made this speech, Tyler, it was probably WGN, but it's okay.
Well, I do know somewhere in their declaration it was thou shalt not have to watch Cubs games on Apple TV Plus.
And thou shalt not have to listen to Dontrell Willis ever.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in that speech.
Gosh, man,
it's bullshit.
Well,
isn't
that's
it? Sorry to ruin your night.
I'll figure something.
We'll
I'll just listen to Pat.
I'll send you another virus. I'll send you my janky website. Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay.
No, I'll just listen to it on the radio.
All right, that's better. The nice part about Apple is you can, if you get Apple, you can listen to the Cubs broadcast or the Pat and Ron show through Apple. So
that's cool. I know you can do it. I do that sometimes on MLB TV, but that's cool. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I refuse to buy Apple TV Plus just for that. Yeah.
Have you done any of the free trials?
I did one, like the very first one, like last year.
Oh, so you might
one of the first ones I did last year. I mean, technically, I can watch it through. After you gave me that virus, I found this new form of TV that I've been using for years now, and I can watch it.
That's right. You told me about that.
It's just kind of sometimes it comes up, sometimes it goes in and out. It just depends, but
it's just annoying.
It was just the convenience of having MLB TV and just pulling it up on MLB TV. But
I know. Well,
whatever.
We'll figure it out. Where there's a will, there's a way, and if you can figure out beef ribs, you can figure out Cubs broadcast. But Tyler, my final thought is the Cubs came into today's game with a 91.6% chance to make the postseason, a 12.1% chance to win the World Series, according to Baseball Reference. When I checked that page earlier today, reinforcements are coming near the deadline. I'm not going to completely blow a gasket yet. The road trips against good teams are hard. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Let's get some momentum back this week, 4th of July week and weekend. All is not completely done in the world of the Cubs, even if you're someone who's just, it's all gloom and doom, maybe it is for you, but I'm going to sit back. I'm going to enjoy the ride that is the 2025 Cubs season, because right now being in first place is still way better than the other options. So let's see where it goes. And yeah, man, I'm excited for this week because I think some good things are going to happen. I think the bats are really going to bust out at home. So, but with that said, a lot of good comments here tonight. So we really appreciate all of you that joined us here on a Sunday Fun Day show. Just a lot of good interactions with everybody. And let's get a better outcome this week. Hopefully they do end up making a move here soon. We'll see what happens there, if our predictions are right, and maybe the big move will be closer to the deadline, or if they do get something done by the end of the All-Star break. With that said, I want to remind everybody that we are brought to you by the OnTap Sports Network. You can go to ontapsportsnet.com to get all your Chicago sports needs, and golf as well. You can find me over there. Weekly show with Jack Bushman giving out golf bets. We were right there, man. Pot Geeter ended up winning the tournament this week or today, and it was in a playoff between Chris Kirk, who I bet on, and Max Gracerman, who Jack had bet on. So we were right there for another W or outright victory. We didn't get it. Freaking Aldi Potts took it down, which congrats to him, but sucks for us. But anyways, you can check out, like I said, all the Chicago sports content and the rest of it over at ontapsportsnet.com. We are one of two Cubs broadcasts or podcasts here at the network. The Dingers podcast does a great job. Usually, I believe they go on Monday nights when they roll. So go over there and check them out here. You can find them here at the YouTube channel on Tap Sportsnet, and just click subscribe and see when they're going live. But YouTube, podcast platforms, Facebook, at X, at Cubbies on Tap, CUBBIES on Tap. Tyler is at Teddy Freddy 270. I am at Joey Knows Nothing. And find the rest of the gang as well. You can see them here in the ticker with all their handles and all that. So I'm not going to run down the entire list. But with that said, Tyler, what do you say we get on out of here ahead of 4th of July week, the only way we know how here at Cubs on Tap?
Yeah, Joey. 250 years ago, our forefathers got in a room together, and they signed this Declaration of Independence. And on that list, they were tired of dealing with the British and all their shit. And so they declared independence from them. But at the very bottom, when they all signed it, just before they signed it, they wrote one little note at the very bottom. After they wrote all the reasons why they're declaring their independence and all that kind of stuff, at the very bottom in big bold, big fat letters, and everybody signed it. It said, F the Cardinals.
And I think there's another part that said, let's go Cubbies.
That's right.